Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 220, and I am Lisa, your host, also known as Fibernymph on Ravelry and Instagram. Today is Wednesday, November 2nd. We are in November. I'll just let that settle in for you for a minute. I don't know why October feels like it flew by. What's up with that? Probably the fact that I wasn't home a whole lot in October has something to do with it. But anyway, it is November, the second day of November. Are you doing anything fun for November? I mean, here in the United States, we have Thanksgiving coming up later this month, so that's a big holiday. If you write, maybe you're doing NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. I participated in that many times in the past. I don't do it anymore because I don't have time. Then there's also NaNoWriMo for the knitters, National Sweater Knitting Month. NaNoWriMo. That's what it would be. I don't even know what I said that first time. NaNoWriMo. That would be National Novel Sweater Month. Somehow maybe you could incorporate a novel about a sweater, or you could knit a novel sweater. I don't know. Are you knitting a sweater this month? Are you writing a novel? Are you doing anything challenging? I'm doing neither of those things. But that's okay, because whatever. I hope November's good for you. It's day 2. We've got a whole month in front of us. Wow, I better rein it in now, because if I don't, who knows where this could end up. And I'm realizing that once again, I forgot to go to the group and check to see if we had anybody say hello. And I do believe we had people introduce themselves since the last time I recorded. So let me go and check on that right now so that I do not rudely ignore people. Okay, let's see. I think I probably, did I say hi to Simon? Simon, hi Simon. If I did not say hi to you, hello. I think I said hello to you before though. Brenda, hi. Tammy, hello. Okay, now we're getting back into the beginning of October. So Tammy and Brenda and Simon, I think maybe I've already said hello to you, but thank you for introducing yourselves on the 90% knitting board. And the last one, who I didn't even get to reply on the group yet. How did I not do that? Because it wasn't even showing up as a new post for me. Sherry from, where is Sherry from? She goes by Fleece Flicker on Ravelry. Hampton. It just says Hampton. I don't know where that's at. If that's Hampton, New York. I don't know. Anyway, welcome. Welcome, Sherry. Thank you to everybody for introducing yourselves. I'm sorry, I am a bit behind on that thread. I usually keep up with it much better than I have been recently. All I can say is when time is short, my internet time is what suffers, and email replying and message replying. That's what suffers the most. So I'll try to do better, and I'll try to catch up. Anyway, hi. Even if you haven't introduced yourselves on the 90% knitting board, welcome to everyone who is watching today. I'm going to try to, like I said, try to rein this in. I feel like I'm already going off course, and that's never a good sign at 4 minutes in. I will give you an update on my cold because I know that you all are really, really concerned. It seems to be better, except it's morphed into like a new phase now, whereas I never got like the deep chest cold kind of thing that I often end up getting. So thankfully, you know, that didn't happen. But what day was it? Sunday? I think it was Sunday. All of a sudden, I got this intense headache. Not even intense, but I got this like headache up in the top of my head, and that's not a usual place for me to get a headache. But I think it's because my sinuses just feel full. My whole head, like behind my eyes, and my sinuses feel full. And the last couple days, I've just kind of felt flushed. I don't have a fever, so I don't know what's going on, but it seems to all be part of this cold. And the other thing was my left eye. It's still a little bit red today. I don't know if you'll be able to notice it. 2 days ago, oh my gosh, in the evening, I looked in the mirror and it was bright red. Like the white part was bright red. I'm like, oh, and I knew it felt uncomfortable and scratchy, but I hadn't realized it was that red. So it freaked me out a little bit. And yesterday it was still really red, so I didn't wear my contacts yesterday. Today it's looking much better. It's still a little pink. I can see it. It's not itchy, so it's not like a pink eye thing, but it's probably some sort of viral related conjunctivitis. I've had that before. And I usually don't wear my contacts, but I actually kind of put them in this morning, not even thinking about it. So I'll just keep an eye on it, no pun intended, today. And if it starts to look really bad, I'll take the contacts out. But anyway, for right now, I'm doing all right. So hopefully this cold or whatever it is will wrap itself up. And yeah, I mean, my nose is still a little bit runny and I'm still coughing, but it never really developed into anything like bacterially infection-y, which is good. So I think it's just a cold, just a whole run-of-the-mill cold. I could do without the headache, though. That's really kind of bothering me. But also, I did something to my neck. Well, I didn't really do something to my neck. I know what I did. It's actually the top of my, like between my shoulder blades up here in the top and the lower part of my neck. I was winding self-striping patterns last week. And when I do that up at the mountain house, I don't always set up a table to do it. I'll do it on this one coffee table and sit on the couch because it's actually a fairly decent level and I can do it fine there instead of having to set up a table and then stand to do it because that's kind of hard on my back after a while. So I like being able to do it when I sit. However, I did it all day one day. I mean, usually if I do it, I just do like an hour or so, you know, just to do a few sets that I need for something. But no, I did this all day long, like probably 6-7 hours. I was sitting out there winding striping patterns from the sitting position, which was fine at the time. But by the end of the day, I was realizing because my arm was like held up higher. Usually if I'm standing, my arm is lower and I don't have that tension up here. But from having to hold my arm at a different angle and like really hold it up higher. I mean, not up this high. Obviously, the coffee table isn't this high, but it just, I can even feel it when I hold my arm that way now. Like I can feel that pull like right in through there, and it's stabby. It's like this stabby pulling pain right there, and it's kind of going up my neck. And I think that probably has something to do with this weird headache I have too. It's probably some neuromuscular weirdness. So I'm not going to do that again. I've decided that I think I'll just put the table up and I will stand if I have to wind patterns, striping patterns for any length of time because that hurts and I don't want to endure this pain again. Live and learn, right? Ergonomics are important. Okay, so I'm going to have a cup of coffee, I'm going to have a sip of coffee. I'm not going to drink the whole cup. That would be kind of boring for you, to sit and watch me drink my whole cup of coffee. Okay, I've had a sip of coffee. I just want to kind of keep from coughing because I'm still at the point where I have enough drainage that it's going to make my throat want to cough if I talk a lot and don't drink. So let's talk about knitting now. I know that's why you're here. 8 minutes in, and let's get to the knitting. Okay, I'm going to move things out of the way here. I have a finished object to show you, and I didn't put them on sock blockers because I'm apparently disorganized today and lazy. I did not straighten my hair today. You're getting me curly because I was just lazy pretty much. And it didn't look too bad today. Sometimes when I have my hair curly, it's like all over the place, but today it's not doing too bad. Anyway, socks, finished object. I finished the Twilight socks. Let me get them out of their bag. So here's what it looks like. So these are the Arnie and Carlos Regia colorway. I don't know. I don't have the number written down, but it's Twilight is the color name. And if you remember, I was thinking I was going to put an afterthought healing using that West Yorkshire Spinners gray that I have that I've used for a couple of other pair of socks. But I thought, you know what, there is just really no gray. There's a blue that's sort of on the gray edge, but it wasn't gray. And these are for my daughter, and I just wanted them to be bright and cheerful. So I came in here into my yarn stash. I started going through all of my like mini balls of yarn. I couldn't find anything that really went with this well until I found this one bag of yarn that I have set aside. And it's a whole bag of solids from the Loopy U, their solid collection. I bought these this collection of yarns. I mean, I don't have all of them. It's just, I don't know, maybe 8 colors, 7, 8 colors. I bought them years ago. Like when they first came out with the loopy solids, I want to say it was priced 7 years ago because it was before I was dyeing yarn. I bought them to make the cupcake mittens. And I think the cupcake pattern is maybe a Spilly Jane pattern. I don't remember now. I bought them to make for Emma because she was really into cupcakes. She still is. Who isn't into cupcakes? Cupcakes are awesome. Anyway, I was going to make her these cupcake mittens, fingering weight, color weight yarn. Color work, yeah. And I never made them. But apparently when that pattern first came out, somebody did it as a kit with, you know, yarn and the pattern. And so in the course of me deciding I was going to do that pattern, I was in correspondence with someone who had done it and who had had the kit. So they were able to tell me how much yardage I needed of each of those colors, because I had to buy like full skeins of all these colors, but I wasn't going to use all of them. And so I wanted to be able to split them off. And so I've got like half skeins sitting there that are still in skein form, but then I've got like just enough of the balls that I would have needed for the cupcake mittens all balled up that I never used for the cupcakes. Well, among that, this is a really long story to get to this yarn, was this really pretty like lavendery purple. And it's coming across more blue when I hold it there, but it's definitely more of a purple. How about if I hold it against my shirt? I don't know. It's purple. It's a light purple, and it went really well. I like how it looks. It's a little lighter than the purple stripe in the colorway, but you know what? It's fine. So I was really happy with having that to use for the heels of this sock. So this was just a plain vanilla sock. Afterthought heels. They're for my daughter. So it's a finished Christmas present. Yay! I'm so happy. And I do have leftovers, so this will, you know, something will go in a sock yarn blanket, and I don't know what I'll end up using the rest of it for. But here's like, and this was actually one of the bigger balls of the loopy solids that I had balled up for those mittens. I probably still have enough to do the mitten, and if not, I still have the whole other half of the skein, so who knows if I'll ever make the mittens. The thought of doing color work mittens with fingering weight yarn really does not excite me. Just gotta say it. Even though it's a really, really cute pattern. Okay, so that is my finished object. Then I have an almost finished object. In fact, I really thought this would be a finished object by this week, but it's not, and I'm going to tell you why. So it's the Antler cardigan. So here we go. I did weave in all my ends. The only ends that are out are from this one button band. I've only done one button band, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. So here it is. It's all finished, and it fits really nice. I'm going to try it on so you can see how nicely the top finishes. I'm so excited about how this yoke fits. I'm really glad I did the sizing the way I did. So as a recap, this is the Antler cardigan by Tin Can Knits. I knit the sleeves in size large. I then knit the body up to the armholes in the size extra large. Then I decreased enough to do the yoke in the large. It fits fabulously. Oh my gosh. Okay. Because I only have the collar on and not the button bands, it's a little wonky up top, but look at it. I love it. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. It's so pretty. There's two problems going on with it though. And that's why I haven't finished it, because I decided we needed to take a couple days from one another. I'm not mad at it, but we needed some space. First thing, the length. Okay, I know, I'm not sure if I can even show you how long. There we go. Okay, if I back up, you can see. It is long, and this side looks longer just because the button band isn't knit onto it yet. But this is how long it is. It covers my butt. I don't want this sweater to cover my butt. I really don't. You know, it was one of those things that I questioned as I was knitting it. The pattern said to knit, for the size I was doing, knit 18.5 inches. I think I did 18. Up to the armholes, up to the underarms. And I thought, that seems really long. But I have shortened bodies of patterns before and then gotten bitten, because you have to accommodate for the girls, right? And they pull up unless you're doing short row shaping, which I was not doing on this. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to trust the pattern. I'm going to go with it. Now, I have to say, the pictures that I've seen of this, like from the pattern, it does not look like it's covering the person's butt wearing it. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. It looks to me like it just goes over her hips, but maybe it's just the patterns, the pictures with the pattern aren't super, super clear. I mean, here's one, which you don't really see down to her butt. And obviously the baby picture isn't going to show you anything. Anyway, yeah, there's one of her sitting. But I mean, even if you look at that one with her sitting, it does not look like if she was standing, it would be covering her butt. So anyway, I decided I would trust the pattern. I would knit it according to the instructions and hope that it worked out. And it's fine if you want a really long sweater that covers your butt and feels like an Afghan wrapped around you. That's not really what I want. I would like this to be about up to my hips. Like I would like it to go here. This is where I would like this to end, right at my hips. So that is approximately 4 to 5 inches shorter. So that's one issue. Second issue is I did the button band. The weird thing about the instructions for the first button band, and this is the one that would just have the buttons on it, not the buttonholes, is it said to pick up 4 stitches for every 5 rows. That is different than what I usually do. I've usually always done 3 stitches for every 4 rows. So, I don't know. Again, I just trusted the pattern. I figured, okay, we'll try that. Well, it's too many stitches. It's just wibbly. I mean, you can see right here I've got this little wibbliness. And it's not as evident at the bottom, but I was showing this to Bonnie earlier, and she was pointing out, yeah, you've still got that same issue down here. And so it's just sort of pushing this button band up, and it's making it all wibbly wobbly. And I don't like that. I also do not like how wide the button band is. It's said to do it 2 inches, which is what the collar band is. I don't want it this wide. I want it about 1.5 inches. So it's too wide. It's too wide and it's too many stitches. Now, my brain first thought, well, you know what? I know it won't block out because this never blocks out, this waffle, that curly thing it does. And it's not a matter of how I bound off. I bound off not too loose, because sometimes if you bind off too loosely, things will do that too. It's not that. It's nice and stretchy, but it's not too loose. And I thought, well, if I knit the other button band using a little bit fewer stitches, whenever you have it buttoned and over top, it'll cover that up and you'll never know. Which may be true, except I'd have to knit the second one the same width as this first one, and I don't want it that wide. And the other thing is, I would probably not always have this buttoned, and so I'm still going to see this wobbly thing going on. I don't want that either, because I love this sweater too much to just settle for, oh, it'll be okay. No, I want this to be perfect, or as close to perfect as I can make it. So here's what I'm going to do. Number 1, I'm going to tear out this button band. It's gone. It's going bye-bye. Once the button band's gone, I am then going to, first I'm going to take the sweater off because I'm getting warm. I am going to take my needle and I am going to thread it through my sweater at the point where I would like it to, well, no, actually, I have to take off the extra. There's 5 inches of extra. So I'm going to go 5 inches up and then another 2 inches to accommodate ribbing. I'm going to put my needle in and I'm going to snip and I'm going to cut it off and I'm going to re-knit the ribbing going downward. I know, it sounds a little odd. My original thought was I was going to just take it off and then unravel it and graft the ribbing back on. And Bonnie's like, why don't you just re-knit the ribbing? It'll probably take you the same amount of time. And she's correct. It probably will, because re-knitting the ribbing would be way easier than grafting the ribbing back on surgically. I've done that before on things, and it's fine. I know I can do it, and it wouldn't look bad. But I'm just going to re-knit the ribbing. So once I make it shorter, where I will be happy with it, then I will do my button bands again, but I'm only going to pick up 3 stitches for every 4 rows instead of 4 for every 5. And I'm going to make it narrower. And I think it'll be much better that way. So we'll see. I would love to have this done before, not this weekend, but the following weekend, because I'm vending at a show on the 12th, and I would love to have it done for them. Even though It'll probably be way too warm at my show to wear that sweater all day. But I would love to be able to have that to wear for my show. So we'll see. Even though it's not my yarn, and I know it's not a big deal, it's always nice to wear something hand knit when you're vending. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's why it's not finished. But that's what I'm going to do to make it be what I really want it to be. So I'm happy with that. I'm at peace with that plan. All right, let's move on. The yarn, again, is Cascade 220 Heathers in the Aspen color. And I love the yarn. I love everything about that sweater except for those issues that I'm going to fix. Okay, next up, works in progress besides the sweater. I finished the first Naruto sock. So here's the first one. It does not have its afterthought heel yet, but this is the first one. And these are socks I'm doing for my youngest son for Christmas. And he's got big feet. So first one is done, and this is out of the Naruto colorway from Gnome Acres. I don't remember what the yarn is. I don't have it written down. Oh wait, I have the tag. It is her fingering sock. It just says fingering sock. 75/25 merino nylon, superwash merino nylon. So Gnome Acres color, Naruto colorway. First one's done. I've cast the second one on, and I'm about that far. So I'm really trying to be, not monogamous, but I'm really trying to spend a lot of time on these because they're another Christmas present. So I would like to really get Christmas presents done. I need to wait to be able to do the heels anyway because I want to do a black afterthought heel. I know I am a dyer. Okay, you don't have to tell me that, but I have a really hard time dyeing a super, super intense saturated black when it comes to semi-solids. I don't know why. I don't know. My old black dye that I used to use, I could get that. The only problem is I had a really hard time getting those dye baths to exhaust, and so the black would tend to sometimes, residual dye would bleed longer than I was happy with having it do that. So I quit using that dye, and the dye I use now provides a nice black that shows up nice in stripes, but when I try to do it in a full skein semi-solid, I don't know why, I always have trouble. I get a nice soft black, like a really dark charcoaly black, but it's not this black, and so I want this black for the heels. So I ordered a skein of West Yorkshire Spinners black. Just, it's black. I can't remember if it has another name or not. I ended up having to order it from Brit Yarn. I know the Woolly Thistle with Claire from New Hampshire Knits. I know she carries it, but she doesn't carry a huge selection, or else things are sold out. So I wasn't able to get it from her shop. I would have if I could have. But I've ordered from Brit Yarns before, and it's always a lovely shop to work with. She's very quick in sending things out. I've already gotten the message that my order has been dispatched. I love that. So anyway, and of course, since I was ordering from the UK, I thought, well, I'm not going to just buy one skein of yarn. So there may be additional skeins of yarn coming with that order. I'll show you those once they get here. But anyway, so I'm making good progress on these, and once the black yarn's here, I can do the heels, and all will be well, and I'll have a second Christmas gift done. That'll be awesome. I did cast 2 new things on this week, one of which is also a Christmas gift. Now, my husband loves rocks, like rocks and fossils and petrified wood and things like that. And I love rocks too, but he's like really, really into them and has tons. He's got massive collections of this stuff. And shortly after we were first dating, he gave me an Ammonite, and I didn't bring it in. I was going to show it to you, but do you know what an Ammonite is? It's like one of those like curly, it sort of looks like a snail, but it's not a snail. It's a prehistoric kind of seashell. I'll try to find a picture and maybe put one in here. If I don't yell at me. Just Google Ammonite and you'll see them. I know you know what they are. Once you see it, you'll know. Anyway, he gave me one, and they're really cool. And I was on Ravelry one day, and I found a pattern for one that's done with Tunisian crochet. And I showed it to him. I'm like, oh, look at this. It's like a stuffy, you know, like a big pillow-sized stuffy, stuffed Ammonite. And he's like, that is so cool. I'm like, I would love to make that for you, except that I don't do Tunisian crochet. But I thought about it, and later on I did buy the pattern. And I thought, well, maybe I can figure it out. No, it's a totally different world, and I don't have time to learn it. I'm sure I could learn it if I took the time. I just don't have time. So then I started looking around. I figured, well, there's got to be like a knitted pattern for it out. And indeed, there are knitted like nautilus patterns and similar things, but nothing specifically exactly what I was looking for. So, excuse me. This week I decided I'm going to wing this, because how hard can it be? Basically, you're going off of the Fibonacci sequence of numbers. If you're not familiar with the Fibonacci sequence, it's a sequence of numbers that forms a shape that is found in nature. It's that curve kind of thing that is found in so many things in nature. And so the numbers start with 0, and then there's 1, and then the next number is 1. And it works by you add the last number to the number prior to it, and that gives you the next number. So it's 1, 1, so then 1 plus 1 is 2. Then 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, and so on. Okay, that's how the Fibonacci sequence works. Okay, so I decided I would start knitting something using the concept of that sequence. This is not the exact sequence because you can't knit with one stitch at a time. I mean, you can, but it's not going to give you something I could stuff. So I faked it. And if you look at my project page, I have written how I did this, because I'm not even going to try to tell you now because it's a lot of numbers and I'll get it wrong. But this is what I have so far. And it looks ridiculous. It looks like a horn or a tail. I don't know what it looks like right now. But, you know, it'll be stuffed. I'm using Nora Curion because I have 4 balls of this colorway. It's colorway number 276. And I love the colors. I thought these would be a really good color combination for something natural. Because if you look at an Ammonite, it's got this iridescent sheen to it. And if they're cut in half, which you'll see tiny ones often cut in half to make earrings and stuff out of them, they're very pretty inside. It's really funny. Bill's like, I could never do that. I would feel like I'm desecrating a corpse. So it's like, we're not cutting any of our Ammonites in half. But anyway, yeah, so I'm doing this. I'm up to 64 stitches because I was at 40. No. I was at 32. I don't know what I was at. The number before plus the number before that adds up to 64 or something. I don't know. So anyway, but I kind of goofed at the beginning because even though I was doing that number sequence for my increases to make it wider, I was only doing half of the number sequence in length. And I realized that early on, which is what this segment here should actually probably be about this long. It should have increased a little more gradually. That's like the first 2 or 3 increases. They happened very rapidly. And they shouldn't have lengthwise. They should have taken a little bit longer. But I wasn't ripping it out by the time I realized what I was doing wrong. So this is the one sequence, which I think was 24 stitches around. See, you have half the stitches on one needle, so that's what I was thinking, and I was thinking, oh, I only do 12 rounds of it, or 12 rounds. It's like, oh no, I don't. I have to do the whole 24 because there's 24 stitches. So this is one segment. This is the next segment. And I just started this segment. So now, like I said, I think I have like 64 stitches or something on here. And this will be, so that means it needs to be 64 rows long. So even though the increases are quite dramatic, you're knitting them much longer. I have no idea how big I'll be able to get this because my deal here is I'm going to knit this as long as I can. And then I will stuff it, and then I will curl it up and stitch it together so that it's in that spiral. And it'll be a pillow. Somehow I will have to close off the top part of it, and it'll be a circle. So some of them, like the patterns that I've found, the knitted ones and even the crocheted ones, have tentacles coming out of them, like I-cord curly tentacles. And they look cute, but I don't want the tentacles. I'm going to do it non-tentacled. So I will probably just like knit a closure, like a circle that'll go right in there, or else I'll just knit it on there in short rows, you know. So that's my plan. It's a really weird project. I've got to tell you, it is a weird project, but I love knitting with Noro. You guys know I love my Noro, and I had these 4 skeins of this color. I think it'll be enough. Who knows? So it'll be something fun to do, and it'll just be a weird gift. I actually think Bill will like it, though. And it'll be an interesting pillow for our bed or something. Who knows? Stay tuned on how that's going to go. I'm totally winging that, but I'm knitting it on US 5s. That's the other thing. So it's a very dense fabric because I'm going to be stuffing it. So it has to be dense enough to not have fiber fluffing out, or filling, you know. So I can only work on it for so long at a time because it's sort of hard on my hands because, you know, Noro does that thick and thin thing. And when it gets to those thick parts on US 5s, it's really, really tight. Okay, the last thing I cast on, and this has absolutely nothing to do with gift knitting, but earlier this week I was just, I don't know if it's because of the cold and my, you know, still hanging on, and just, I was weepy and I was kind of, I needed a hat. I needed some comfort knitting. And hats are comfort knitting for me, and handspun, knitting with handspun is comfort knitting for me. So I started a hat for me out of handspun. This is, I spun this last year. This is some Leading Men Fiber Arts, is BFL, and it was in the That Somewhere colorway, which I got at the second SSK that I went to, which would have been 2014, I believe. Anyway, it's really blowing out, right? If I can get it to not be right in the light here. Don't go towards the light. Yeah, those colors are really blowing out compared to what they look like in person. But it's such a fun colorway. It's bright and cheerful and happy, and the hat is turning out thusly. So I cast on 104 stitches. I'm making a beanie, which is odd for me because I don't usually like the tightly fitting caps, but I've been wearing one that I made a long time ago as a sample for one of my patterns, the Twisty Goo. And I've been wearing that lately, and I kind of like it now. So I guess maybe I'm having a change of heart on caps. But anyway, that's what this is going to be. I'm hoping I didn't make it too large. I'm really trying to make my hats a little more snug fitting so they don't stretch out. Yeah, I'm not going to try this because it will end up coming off the needles. Doesn't that look lovely, though? Anyway, so 104 stitches. This is about, I would say, a DK-ish weight. 104 stitches. I did 2x2 ribs for 2x2 ribs for, I don't know, probably a little over 2 inches. And then I'm doing the blueberry waffle sock pattern. So I don't remember who the designer is of the blueberry waffle socks, but I'm just using that pattern because it's very easily adaptable. And I wanted a little bit of texture, but I didn't want to take away from this color, so I didn't want to do anything too busy. And I think that this stitch pattern really works well with that. It does not take away from the pretty colors in the yarn. I spun this as a traditional 3-ply, which I don't do often, but I always love it whenever I do it because it the barber pulling is just lovely. Again, if you focus, see, so many awesome colors in there. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm not working on it a lot just because I'm trying to get gifts done, but I am working on it probably a lot more than I should be. So anyway, this is my happy, that's what I'm basically calling it, my handspun happy hat. And I don't remember which sides. I think I'm using size 7 needles. I don't know. I didn't write it down, but it's probably a 7 because for the weight of yarn, I don't have the tag in here either. So yeah. Anyway, it's going well. Okay, so that's everything I'm working on. I didn't, again, no spinning this week, but it's okay. The Work Your WIPs KAL. Let's talk about that because October's over. The first month of the knit along is over. You guys are rocking this knit along. So many cool projects getting finished up. I'm so glad you are enjoying this. So I've got prizes to award this week because October is over. And so we have the October prizes. First of all, I'm going to award an Instagram prize because I haven't done that yet. So I was gifted this pattern actually by Amanda Cole. It's called the Migrating River Hat, which is, it's this really, this picture isn't probably going to show it perfectly well, but it's a really cool cable detail that runs vertically on the hats. There's an adult and a child size. Anyway, she gifted this to me, but she also donated a copy as a giveaway, as well as a copy of one of her other hats, which I will use at another time. And they were both river themed, and she said, you know, with all of my canoeing and my rivering and everything, she wanted to donate those. So again, Amanda, thank you so very much for donating those. But this is the one I'm going to award this week, and this is going to be our Instagram prize. And I did a random number generator from the 30, no, there was more than 37, 46 people who have tagged projects on Instagram. 40 tagged pictures. That's the number of tagged pictures. I'm sure some of them were tagged by the same person more than once, but that's fine because they were in different stages of progress. Anyway, the Instagram prize is going to Eleanor Gamgee. That's your Instagram name, so I'm going to assume maybe your first name is Eleanor. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, Eleanor, you posted a picture of your Singing in the Blues socks, and they looked awesome. So congratulations, Eleanor. Please PM me here on Ravelry whenever you see that you won this, and I will connect you with Amanda, who will gift you this pattern for the Migrating River Hat. So congratulations. The next one, I drew 2 finished object prizes from the finished object thread. Since I did the chatter thread last time, we're doing the finished object thread this week. Also because it's October. Sorry, that was my cell phone. It was a weird number. It was probably a political call or something. Anyway, so the first prize I'm going to award from Finished Objects is this beautiful skein of hand-spun yarn from Bluebonnet Fibers Handspun Yarn, which is Rebecca. She generously donated this, and this is, again, a skein of the Wizard and the Phoenix, 2-ply, 100% merino, approximately 250 yards, approximately a DK wash, a DK weight. So I did a random number generator from the finished object thread, which we've got like 170 some now. I don't remember exactly, but I did the random number generator from post 2 through 170 whatever it was. And this prize is going to number 23. Post number 23 was was Ange in the East. So that's Angela. She is a frequent contributor to our knit-alongs, and so she had posted a picture of her finished Ribberoni hat. So congratulations, Angela. You are the recipient of the Bluebonnet Fibers Handspun Yarn. When you see that you won this, please PM me on Ravelry and send me your mailing address, and I will get this out to you. So congratulations. And thank you again, Rebecca, for donating that. Okay, the next prize for October, the second and final prize for October, is going to be the WizKnits drawstring bag that I showed you a picture of last time. If I remember, I'll try to put another picture of it in here. That is donated graciously by Anna from WizKnits. And so I did the random number generator again and got post number 27. I think it was number 27. Was it number 27? No, that was some, I'm sorry, 70. I'm looking at like too many things right now. It was post number 70. Let me just make sure, because I have it all written down. Oh my gosh, you know. Post number, it was 173 altogether. Post number 70 would be on page 3. I just want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Yes, it is number 70. That's TG Knits. So that is Trish. congratulations. She has a picture of her finished pot holder. So congratulations, Trish. Please PM me whenever you hear that you have won, and I will connect you with Anna, and she will get your bag to you. So, alrighty. Well, congratulations to our winners. Thank you to everyone who has been taking part in this through October, and now we're into November. So now that also means in November, you're eligible to do a cast-on-itis item. So if you started something in October, a new project that was started in October, and you finish it in November, there will be a prize, especially for your cast-on-itis items. So don't forget to label it as such on that entry too. Okay. What else? Oh, I have some additional prizes that have come in to tell you about. I already told you about the hats that Amanda is offering. So there was the Migrating River hat, which I awarded today. The other one is the River Rapids hat, which I will use that for a future drawing. And then another Angela, Angela from the Delusional Knitter podcast. She also has Delusional Knitter Designs. She is offering $10 worth of patterns from her Ravelry shop. Her patterns are beautiful. If you have never checked out her patterns or her pattern shop, please go and look. It's the Delusional Knitter Designs. I'll link this in the show notes. She has got lovely shawls and mitts and I think hats. Just beautiful, beautiful things. And I'm not sure how I have never knit any of her projects yet, because there are several that are right up my alley. So anyway, but thank you, Angela, for donating that $10 worth of patterns. And we will be using that, again, as a future prize as well. Okay, new things this week. The only new thing I have to show you is what I am wearing, and it is the Shetland Wool Week t-shirt. If you can't go to Shetland Wool Week, you can still buy the t-shirt. Yeah, I like it. I thought the sheep was pretty cool. I don't know if you can tell. Here, I'm going to get closer to see if you can see this. Check out the fabric on this shirt. I know I probably just yelled in your ear because I was right up next to the microphone. I'm sorry. But I couldn't see this that clearly in the picture when I ordered it. I'm sure there was some sort of a description, but it's like this confetti flecked kind of tweed look, but it's all these bright colors. It's such a cool t-shirt fabric. I've never seen t-shirt fabric like this before, so that was pretty neat, but I like it. I love it. New t-shirt with a sheep on it. Alrighty, that's all my new things. So let's move into 10%. I finished books, more than one. I finished Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Higgs. I liked it. I'm not sure I loved how it ended. I felt like the author sort of rushed the end, like, okay, got to tie this all together now. I wasn't crazy about how the ending was done. I don't know. I think there are future books. Like, I think there's maybe one or two more books after this book. I'm not 100% sure on that. I thought I saw them show up in my Audible thing. I'm not feeling like the need to listen to either of those right now, but I'm not ruling it out either. I mean, it was good. I mean, it's a young adult book. It's not meant to be like deep adult reading or anything. I did not dislike it, but again, the ending just, it felt like it was lacking something. Like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm done with that. After reading that, I felt the need to lighten up a little bit and listen to something different. So I downloaded Girl Walks Into a Bar, which is a memoir by Rachel Dratch. Now, I gotta tell you, I don't watch Saturday Night Live. I mean, I've seen it incidentally here and there throughout my life, but I've never been somebody who sits and watches Saturday Night Live. I don't know many of the actors on Saturday Night Live other than the ones that have become big names after being on there. I had no idea who Rachel Dratch was. It was just one of those books that showed up in my Audible recommendations, like, you might like. And so I read, you know, the little synopsis. I thought, yeah, that sounds sort of funny. And it was. It was really good and very amusing. You know, she talks a little bit about her life in show business and then her life after Saturday Night Live, and some of the things she's done. But at that point, she's talking more about her personal life and, you know, the whole, you know, being a woman in your 30s, going into your 40s, and you're still not married, and you want to have a family, but how are you supposed to make that happen? And, you know, it's a very obviously different life path than I've had, but there were certain things that she was talking about that I could sort of relate to, and I know people in my life who could relate to that too. It was a very good memoir. I liked her honesty about things. It was really, I enjoyed it a lot, and it was funny. Some parts of it were super funny, and she was good to listen to, so I enjoyed that. And she does read it. Like, if a memoir is read by the person who wrote it, whose memoir it is, I will love it. I love listening to people read their own books, their own stories. Which brings me to my next book that I have downloaded and I'm in the middle of listening to. And it's called Buffering, Unshared Tales of a Life Fully Loaded by Hannah Hart. I don't know if you know who Hannah Hart is. There's a YouTube series called, well, her channel is Harto, but she did, I'm not sure if she still does it or not, to tell you the truth, My Drunk Kitchen. So it's these little short cooking shows, and she's drinking the whole time, and she gets tipsy, and it's kind of funny. I used to watch it a lot, and she was very funny. It was back at the beginning when they first started coming out, or when I first found them. I don't know. They may have been out for a while by the time I found them. But I really enjoyed watching them. I haven't seen them in a long time. And then I have not watched much of her other stuff. I think I have here and there. But she is a very interesting person. I'm really enjoying listening. I mean, this is a very short memoir. Matter of fact, I think I just purchased this. I didn't even use like a credit on it because it was too short for me to justify wasting a credit on a book that's short, like 5 or 6 hours long. But it's worth it. I'm really enjoying it. She talks about her life, you know, growing up. Not a particularly warm and fuzzy childhood in some ways. You know, there's issues with mental illness with her mother. Just sounding like living kind of in poverty in a house that probably wasn't very safe, not a lot of parental oversight. You know, and then an uber religious father who, due to his religious beliefs, you know, basically calls for cutting off certain parts of his family, and he does, you know, not approving of her life as she gets older, and, you know, her feelings of, you know, dealing with this relationship that she would like to have with her father but can't have with her father. And then she talks about, you know, her professional life and how My Drunk Kitchen came to be about and how this has grown and what it's done for her, and also her personal struggles of growing as a person and discovering herself, you know, coming to terms with her sexuality. She's a lesbian, and, you know, she was not always at peace with that. And I mean, that's not something that I can relate to because that's not my life path. And so I don't fully comprehend those feelings, but she is very articulate and quite poignant in the way that she describes all of these various areas of her life experiences. I'm really liking this book. I'm glad that I downloaded it. So I'm not done with it yet, but I'm really enjoying it. So there's that, and then I finished watching the first season of Stranger Things. I had like 2.5 episodes left to go. I finished that up. I really enjoyed that. I can't wait till more come out. That last episode definitely set it up for another episode. So we'll see where that goes. It was good though. Okay, so and I guess we had Halloween this week too. My kids are grown, and I don't live where there's a lot of kids around, so Halloween isn't really a big thing for me anymore. I kept forgetting actually that Monday was Halloween, and every once in a while, like, Emma texted me a picture of her wearing prosthetic elf ears. She has these, we got them at a Ren fair or something one time. And so she wore them to class that day. And she's like, yeah, my accounting teacher stopped mid-sentence, and she's like, are those your real ears? And so Emma messed with her. She said, yes, this is the 9th week of the term. I can't believe you're only noticing now. And she was like aghast, the teacher. And then she's like, really? And Emma's like, no. I said, she should have failed you right there. But anyway, and then she was talking about what somebody else dressed up, and I'm like, oh, that's right, today's Halloween. This makes a whole lot more sense why you were wearing your elf ears to class when you're supposed to be dressing semi-professionally for these classes. It's coming together now. But yeah, I did post a picture on Instagram of my cat that I put into a impromptu um, costume. I basically bribed her with a lot of cat treats um, and wrapped her up in aluminum foil so she could be a burrito. Like a Chipotle. Yeah, okay. She was not amused. I was scratched more by the tin foil than by her, actually. We went through a lot of foil to get that picture and a lot of cat treats, and she avoided me the rest of the day, actively avoided me. Though she did not barf on anything or pee on anything that I can tell. So I left the dog alone. I did not torment the dog, but it was making me laugh so much. That was also part of the problem in trying to wrap the cat up into, I mean, not like over her face or anything, but just her middle in tin foil because it was such a ridiculous thing. And she was like, you know, and I'm like, oh, come on, this will be fun. And I'm laughing so hard. It was hard to do anything. And then she'd get away from me. I'm like, come back, let's have fun. This will be awesome. She was having none of it. So anyway, I really don't abuse my pets. Honestly, I love my pets, but sometimes you just have to help them have fun and embrace Halloween. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about shop news now, shall we? We're going to segue right into shop news. First of all, the Smooth Sailing Sunny Skies pre-orders are over. That ended on Monday. No. Yes. What day? Monday. The end of Monday. Those were done. Thank you to everyone who purchased one of those. As I said, a portion of the proceeds from all of the skeins that I sold are going to be going to one of two. I'm going to divide them and send them to two different Hurricane Matthew relief organizations. One is Haiti H2O, so that'll go to Haiti, and the other one is the American Red Cross, specifically the Matthew Relief Fund. We raised $205 from all of the yarn that was sold, so I'm going to actually up that to $210 so I can split it more evenly. So $105 will go to each of those organizations on your behalf. So thank you again. Thank you so much for that. And I will be getting those skeins dyed up and sent out as soon as I possibly can. I'm probably not going to be able to do them all in one fell swoop. I'm going to have to do them in separate batches because it was a lot. But I will get them out as soon as I can. Secondly, the Killarney Club signups, the Killarney Collection Club signups closed last Friday. So thank you to everybody who signed up. I think we had 13 people sign up for that club, which is great. It's a small club, but I'm good with that. So you can be watching for your first colorway to be shipped out at the end of November. So that's pretty fun. I can't wait to do that. The Pie of the Every Other Month Club signups are going to be coming up next week. I will probably do what I did for the Killarney Collection Club, and I will video a short little introduction video to that club. Let you know how to sign up, where to sign up. It will be in the shop. That worked really well for the Killarney Club, so I'm going to do that again for the Pie of the Every Other Month Club. I will say that is going to be limited. I can only do so much of the self-striping in the pie colorway because it's very labor-intensive to wind that pattern. So there are going to be very limited numbers. I'm going to put up at least 3 yarn bases, probably 2 fingering, and then either DK or worsted. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, they're going to be limited, so I don't know if I'm going to put a time limit on how long those signups will be open. It'll probably just be open until all of the spots sell out. So anyway, that's that. So you can watch for that coming next week. Let's see. Next, before I talk about the update, there is an update this Friday, but let me just tell you, I'm vending at Indie Knit and Spin here in Pittsburgh on Saturday, the 12th of November. Yay! This is one of my favorite shows to do every year because it's local and it's an awesome shop full of tons of indie dyers and other indie crafters that are related to the fiber arts. So it is wonderful. If you are anywhere near Pittsburgh, I always say this, if you are even within like a 3-hour drive of Pittsburgh, it is worth it to make the drive and come and see what's there. You will not be disappointed. Plus, Pittsburgh's a cool city to hang out in. Drive, come to Indian and Spin, go over to, Southside Works or the oceanfront, the waterfront, go downtown, grab dinner, head home. It'll be a great day. I promise. You will not be disappointed. It's from 10 to 4. I will post the link for the website so you have all the address information and everything, but it's on the East End, it's part of Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's just a fabulous show. We're going to be doing demos throughout the day too. I'm going to be demoing Afterthought Heels, so that'll be fun. But there's a whole bunch of other demos taking place, and there's raffles. We're doing raffles this year for the first time. So yeah, it's just going to be a really great day. I hope you can join me and everybody else who will be there. All right, lastly, I'm doing an update this Friday, which this is weird because at this point I'm usually not still doing update dyeing this close to a show, but because all of the holiday and Christmas colorways that I had up in last week's show went so quickly and you guys really seemed to love them, I wanted to get another batch of those in the shop. And since I was dyeing them for the show, I'm just dyeing a little extra so I can put some more in the shop for you this week. So, my gosh, I feel like I'm talking a lot. There will be, and I'm not going to be able to tell you exact numbers because it's not all reskeined and some of it's still downstairs drying, but there will be more holidays. You guys really liked holidays, so I did up a whole nother batch of holidays. This one's on Bedazzled, so this will be in the shop, and then it'll be also up in one other base. I can't remember what the other base options are, so just look in the shop listings, but there will be at least 4 skeins of holidays up. There will also be more Welcome to Whoville, and I have that dyed up on 3 different bases, so there will be more on Bounce, more on Bedazzled, and I did some on Cozy, the worsted weight base as well. You guys really seem to like this too. This is the fun, speckled, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas Whoville inspired colorway. I love this colorway. It's so much fun to do. And I did some of it on sock blanks too. I thought it would make a great sock blank, and it does. So I've got some on sock blanks in the Whoville, Welcome to Whoville colors. There will be 2 sparkle blanks and 2 non-sparkle blanks for that. Okay, then there was Winter Frolic, which was kind of my accidental happy accident colorway from last week, which you guys seem to like because it's sold out. So I did up more of it, and there will be some of that on Bounce, some of that on Bedazzled, and some of that on Cozy again. This batch did dye up a little bit differently in that this color right here, which it's a bluish green to begin with, but the last batch from last week was much more blue than green. This week it's tending a little more towards green than blue. And again, it's getting blown out in this light. But it's still the same colorway, and you've got that awesome pink in there and the light green. Just all those fun pops of wintry holiday colors that are just awesome. Okay, so there will be those. There will also be more skeins of variations on a Christmas theme, which is the 2-striper, that both stripes are variegated. Those are not reskined yet because they're still drying, but there will be more of those. And lastly, there will be this one, which I did not have up last week, but this is an oldie but a goodie. The elves were in the eggnog. This is a perennial favorite. This is one of my first colorways I ever came up with, the Christmas colorways from many years ago, and it's still a good seller every year. So this is a 5-stripe colorway. The elves were in the eggnog. This will be up in the shop. This is Bounce. I have it on a couple other bases. I can't remember which one I'm putting in the shop because, like I said, this is I'm dying for both the shop update and the show, so I can't remember which is which at this point, but it will be there. There will be some, so you can be looking for those. And also I have just this odd skein of yarn. It's going to be a one-of-a-kinder. It's just a variegated blues and pinks and purple, and some speckling, mild speckling, like pink and gray speckling. I just had leftover dye from something else I was doing, so I put it on some yarn. It's on bedazzled. I think it looks really nice. And again, this is one of those things where it's like, okay, it was leftover dye from something else, but I really like how it turned out. So it may become a frequent visitor to the shop. I may make it a regular colorway. We'll see. I have to think about that. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that's everything I'm putting in the shop this week. This will probably be the last, this is obviously not the last update I'm going to have before Christmas, but this is probably going to be my last update that is dedicated to Christmas colorways and holiday colorways. I will obviously, after my show on the 12th, that next week I will do an update that will probably largely have show leftovers in it. And it'll also have any leftover Christmas colorways that I've taken to the show. Any of those left, I will bring those, or I'll put those into the shop along with the other show leftovers. I'm not going to be putting all of my show inventory into the shop this time, though, because I have a show at the end of January that I need to have stock for, and so I'm going to keep my show stock in reserve for the time being. Matter of fact, I've got a few different shows coming up early next year, so I may be keeping show reserve in a way that I've never done before. That'll be an interesting concept for me. But the one that at the end of January is the Magical Fiber Fantasy Retreat that Amy from Ross Farm is coordinating and hosting down in Disneyland. Please check that out if you have any interest. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to go and vend at that. That'll be so much fun. So anyway, okay, that's everything. The shop update, again, will be this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I know my last update was also at 7 p.m., but that seems to be a good time for a lot of people, the 7 p.m. time frame, because everybody on the East Coast is mostly home from work. People on the West Coast are probably getting home from work. We changed the clocks this weekend, too. We get to fall back an hour. That's exciting if you do that. Not everybody does, even in the United States, and I know across the world I don't think everybody does either. I think it's kind of a United States-y thing. But anyway, that has absolutely nothing to do with the shop update. Shop update is Friday the 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Alrighty, that's everything. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I will be back with you next week, so take care. Bye.